You have also no way have we ever given you permission to post my photos. I will sue you if you don't take those photos down immediately. You have crossed the line between free speech and defamation of character. You have crossed the line. Malicious intent is where it is. And if you keep going, you will lose everything.
All right. Track number 12 is the matter that I passed earlier. It's matter number 5, Kenneth and Valerie Jenvey, 2350878. Before I get the debtor's appearance, I want to just state on the record it's 11:05. I have a 10:45 calendar. So for those of you who are on the phone for the 10:45 calendar, the case that I'm calling right now, the Jenvey matter, is the last matter on the 9:45 calendar, but it's probably going to take 45 minutes or so for us to go through the examination. So if you're on the line for the 10:45 calendar, you can feel free to stay on the line if you'd like, or you can call back in about 45 minutes, which would be around 11:45, something like that. All right. Okay. So we're on matter 5, the Jenvey matter. Are the debtors on the line?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Jenvey, you're on the line as well?
Yes.
All right. Can you each raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Please state your names for the record.
Kenneth Jenvey.
Valerie Jenvey.
Thank you. I am looking at images of a California driver's license for Mr. Jenvey for the photo ID, United States of America passport card for the photo ID for Ms. Jenvey, and for Social Security proof, I'm looking at images of your Social Security cards that have numbers on them that match the numbers in the bankruptcy petition. This question is for each of you. Are you the individual whose name and address appears on the voluntary bankruptcy petition as the debtor?
Yes.
Yes.
And Mr. Gunther, please make your appearance.
Ralph Gunther, appearing on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Jenvey. I can confirm I reviewed a California driver's license for Mr. Jenvey, a passport card for Mrs. Jenvey, and Social Security cards for both. The information matches that found in the notice and in the petition.
Thank you. With that, identity is verified. Please make your November and future plan payments by the 20th of the month. Is the address on the bankruptcy petition your current address?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, do you work for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs?
Yes.
Is the corporate address for them 1240 East 9th Street, Cleveland, Ohio 44199?
Yes.
And ma'am, you are self-employed, is that right?
Yes.
And do you operate your business from a business location or from your residence?
I can no longer operate it from my residence. I operate through partners now.
What does that mean?
It means our home doesn't allow us to do breeding there ourselves there, so I do it through my partners. I have partners. So it's not done in my home anymore.
Okay. Is this a sole proprietorship?
Yes.
Okay. Are there just the two of you in the household?
Yes.
Yes.
Have either of you filed bankruptcy in the last 4 years?
No.
Have you both lived in California for the last 2 years?
Yes.
Have you filed all of your tax returns through 2022?
No.
Okay. Are you in the process of getting the 2022 returns prepared?
22 has been prepared. I have a couple of outstanding prior years, which I'm in process of completing.
So, have you filed the 2022 returns yet?
Yes.
Okay. Have you sent them over to Mr. Gunther's office?
No. Oh, apparently not. I thought I did. No.
And they've actually been filed with the IRS and Franchise Tax Board. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And when
they were filed electronically.
And when did that happen?
Just before the filing deadline, which was October 10th. So I think I filed on the 9th.
Okay. So I've got an objection to get a copy of them. Are the copies that you provided? Well, I'm sorry, you said you've not sent them over yet to Mr. Gunther, correct?
Correct. I apologize. I thought I had.
So, Mr. Gunther, I will need a declaration when you send those over from both of them stating that they are true and correct copies. I did receive the 2021 returns. Are those true and correct copies of what you actually filed with the IRS and Franchise Tax Board?
Yes.
And ma'am, yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
All right, and so what years have you not filed returns for at this point?
You have that, Mr. Gunther. It's 17, 18, 19, and 20, I believe.
All right, I'm going to need, actually, I've already objected. I don't need to see copies of those returns, but I do have an objection point asking for verification that they've been filed once that happens. But I don't need to see copies of those years. Do either of you pay child or spousal support?
No.
Sir, do you gross $12,823 a month at your job?
Yes.
And ma'am, do you gross $1,000 a month doing dog breeding? And that's your self-employment, right? Dog breeding?
Yes.
Is that what
yeah. That's my income in the past has been $1,000 a month from dog breeding.
You've indicated that it's $1,000 a month in this bankruptcy paperwork that was filed on the 17th of August. So are you not still grossing $1,000 a month from the dog breeding?
Well, that's a projected average since it goes cyclical when litters are born. We estimated a future income as part of the filing.
So does that mean, I'm not sure how to...
It means it's not, we are dependent on dogs getting pregnant and having litters. And so it's projected.
Okay.
And we are no longer allowed to do litters in our home now. So we're dependent on partners.
So being dependent on partners, so this is a change since you filed the bankruptcy, I take it, right?
Yes. Yes.
So is there do you have additional expenses associated with the fact that you can't do this from your home and you're using partners?
Well, yeah, because we have to split the income now with partners.
Okay.
And expenses.
All right, so the expenses that you had listed for the business when you filed were listed on the budget, your personal budget. It said dog food and vet bills, $500. So what are the expenses now?
Good question.
On an average, approximately the same.
All right, rather than have you guess, let me just have you file, get with your attorney, and you can talk about what you anticipate your income and new expenses will be now that the arrangement has changed and you're doing your business with partners instead of on your own. Ma'am, do you have any employees or not?
No. Just partners.
Okay. Is the rent where you live $2,000 a month?
Yes.
Yes.
At the time you filed, you indicated that you had 5 French Bulldogs valued at, I guess, $3,000 for all 5 of them, or is that $3,000 a piece? Pardon me?
Okay, sorry.
And 2 French Bulldogs valued at $1,500. Is that also a per dog?
Yes, per dog.
And you indicated for that line that you have a half interest in the 2 French Bulldogs valued at $1,500 per dog. Is that correct?
Yes.
Who had the other 50% interest?
I'm sorry?
Who had the other 50% interest?
Breeding partners.
So our breeding partners, are these individuals? Who are they?
Yes.
Are they other breeders?
Yes.
And how many breeding partners do you have?
One primary partner and a couple of guardian homes at the moment, and whelping assistants.
The primary partner, who is that?
Michael Young.
Michael Young.
Yes.
And who are the 2 guardian homes? Who are the owners of those?
Kirsten, I'm sorry, we don't remember her last name at the moment. It's a new relationship.
Oh, Melissa Rotundi.
Melissa Rotundi.
And you can't remember the name of the other one?
We don't remember the last name.
I don't remember her last name. I'd have to look at a contract. It's new.
You've got also listed having 8 French Bulldog puppies, $2,000 each. Was that accurate as of the time you filed?
Yes.
Yes, but they're all, yeah.
So where are they now?
And they're
They've been sold.
I'm sorry?
They have been sold.
All of them? All 8 of them?
No, we still have one.
We still have one. Still working on trying to sell her.
So the 7 that sold, how much did they sell for?
Wow. You know?
I'd have to look up each individual one. Anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500.
No, we have one sold for $1,000, one sold for $1,500, and the rest sold between 2 and 4.
Do you have written contracts for these sales?
Yes.
We do, yes.
So I'd like to see the contracts for the 7 puppies that have been sold since, they've been sold since filing, correct?
Yes.
And the 2 French Bulldogs worth $1,500 apiece that you have a half interest in, do you still have those?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The 5 French Bulldogs valued at $3,000 per dog, do you still have those?
Yes. Some are in guardian homes, but we still own them.
Have you acquired any other dogs since filing?
No.
The bank accounts that you've listed on your asset schedule, 5 bank accounts, are these all the accounts that you have?
I only have one. I don't know.
Yes, and actually one has been closed.
So which one has been closed?
The Bay Federal Savings.
Okay. So Bay Federal's not listed here.
Oh, okay.
So was it closed before or after you filed?
Yes.
Was it closed before or after you filed the petition?
The Bay
The
Federal.
Bay Federal, it was associated with a car loan that was, the car had been declared a total, and when the settlement finally came through, the gap insurance, there was a little money left over. We withdrew that and closed the account. So it was purely associated with the car loan.
Did this happen before or after you filed?
Closing the account happened after we filed.
So Schedule AB needs to be amended to list the Bay Federal account as of the filing date and whatever was in there at the time of the filing date. When you closed the account, how much was in there?
$400. There was $5 in the account at the time we filed.
And you said this car was involved, it was totaled in an accident?
Correct.
When was the accident?
March 15th.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
I'm sorry. I think it was March 10th. I said March 15th, but I'm pretty sure it was March 10th.
What year?
March of 2020. March of 2023.
And what kind of car was it?
Volkswagen ID4.
Say the model again.
Volkswagen ID4.
So did you receive any money from the insurance company after, was there a loan on the car with Bay Federal?
Yes.
Okay. After the loan was paid, did you receive any money besides, well, did you receive any money?
No.
Only a refund on payments that had been made during the process. That's what the $400 balance was. After the gap insurance paid off, I had continued to make payments per requirements after the claim. So there was a small, roughly $400, slightly more than $400 payment at the end of all that. It was a return of payments we had made.
Okay. And is this the car accident that you've listed on the asset schedule for, I think it's Ms. Jenvey is asking for medical coverage?
Yes.
So ma'am, what is the status of that claim?
The status is that it's not closed yet. It's very difficult dealing with them, trying to get any type of compensation.
Have you
So I'm trying to get reimbursements from,
Go ahead.
trying to get reimbursements for medical. That's where the status is.
You're not trying to get reimbursement for any kind of personal injury?
No.
All right, so I'm going to need to track whether or not you actually end up receiving anything from this. So we'll just ask for a non-standard provision, asking for a declaration. Why don't we just put it 6 months out? So like maybe, why don't we just say maybe like May 1st, and annually thereafter, describing what the status of the car accident claim is that's listed on line 33 of the asset schedule. Basically, I just want to know what's the status. Have you received any money? If so, how much? And when did you get it? That sort of thing.
Will do.
Madam Trustee, if that language is included in the objection, we'll make sure we add it to an amended plan, and then we'll file the motion to approve it.
Okay, or I can. We can.
No worries. We'll do it anyway, so it's fine.
All right. So, ma'am, what is the name of the business that you're operating?
Seafoam Kennels.
Okay. And you started operating this business when?
7 years ago. So 2017.
Okay.
End of 2017.
And have you operated the business, a dog breeding business, using any other names?
No.
Just the Seafoam Kennel name, that's it?
Uh-huh.
So, making some notes here. Do you have any relationship with an entity by the name of Bulldogs By The Sea?
That is me, but I don't use it as a business. It's just a Facebook page.
It's just a Facebook page?
Uh-huh. An Instagram page, but I don't operate under that name as a business.
What about Frenchies
Just the name of the...
What about Frenchies of the
Go ahead.
Sea?
Yes, both of them are Facebook pages and Instagram pages, not businesses.
What about Bulldogs By The Sea?
Another Facebook page.
And that's our email address.
What about Sea Mist Farms?
That's a business that's around the corner from us. Has nothing to do with us.
It pops up on a Facebook posting, such at such and such. It just happens to be in our neighborhood.
It's right around the corner.
And it pops up. So Valerie Jenvey's at CMS Farms. So it's not an entity that we're attached to in any way.
Okay. All right, getting back to the checking account.
That was our inspiration from Kennels.
Getting back to the bank accounts. The Bay Federal is the one that was associated with the car loan. You said you closed that post-petition, had $400 in it, right?
Correct.
And are any of the bank accounts, you've listed a checking account with Bank of America. There are no last four account number identifiers on any of these. You've just listed it as checking, Bank of America, $700. Savings, Bank of America, $50. Checking, Wells Fargo Bank, $800. Checking, Mara-West Credit Union, $100. Savings, Mara-West Credit Union, $0. Are those all the accounts that you have?
Yes.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Are any of these used for your business? Your dog breeding business?
Yes.
How many of them?
One.
Which one?
The Wells Fargo checking.
Okay, so I want to see bank statements for that Wells Fargo checking account. Can you tell me the last 4 digits of that account? Do you know that number?
8642, I think. Is it 8642?
I'm not sure.
Okay, if you don't know, don't tell me the wrong, don't guess. It's the only Wells Fargo checking account you have listed on line 17 of your asset schedule. I want to see bank statements for that account for the 6 months, basically starting for January of 2023 up through end of October 2023, so we can catch some pre and post petition activity on that account. Okay? So you provided me with the 2021 return, and the 2021 return showed wage income of $122,391 and some Social Security benefits, some capital gains from selling stock. So did you have any dog breeding or any kind of self-employment income in 2021?
We were not profitable in 2021. We were advised that we didn't need to report that income because the expenses exceeded the income.
Did you have someone prepare that 2021 return?
I did it with TurboTax.
So you did have income in 2021 from the dog breeding business, but expenses exceeded that
Yes.
income?
Yes.
So why didn't you list the income and expenses? Most people do that. That way they can have that business loss offset wage income or other income that they have.
We were advised that at this point we were essentially considered a hobby, not a business, and that if we did that for 3 years, then we would essentially be locked out of being able to be a business entity. So we were hoping to become profitable, at which time we would start reporting the income. So that was the advice I was given.
Were you operating another business in 2021 that would have generated some income, some net income?
No, just my employment.
On the Statement of Financial Affairs, which is one of the documents you filed, in this case, you indicated that for calendar year 2021, you grossed $32,000 in income from operating a business. So is that not true?
Gross?
Right.
Did you say gross?
I did.
That would have been from puppy sales.
So how come it didn't show up on your tax return for 2021?
Because the expenses exceeded what we made.
Okay. So how many dogs at this point do you fully own?
Fully in our name,
Right.
right? Is that correct?
Correct.
Six. One is for sale.
And do you have any fully owned dogs in guardian homes?
No, they're in partnership.
And how many dogs are in partnership?
MOBA, right? 4.
Any litters born since the petition was filed?
No.
No.
Do you have any dogs that are pregnant right now?
Yes.
How many dogs are pregnant?
Three.
How many?
3.
And when are they supposed to have their litters?
In December.
What are the names of the dogs that are pregnant right now?
Azariah,
Can you spell that?
Azuria.
And who else?
Majesty. Majesty.
Okay.
And Sequin. Sequin.
All right. And once these dogs are born, are you planning on selling them at some point?
Yes.
And approximately when would you be listing them for sale?
2 months from now.
From that.
I'm sorry?
2 months from now. They can't legally leave where they are, or they can't legally leave their mother until they're 7 weeks old. And we usually don't let them go until they're 8 to 10 weeks old.
And do you know now how much you're going to be asking for them?
No clue. I see them. I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what their DNA is going to be. I don't know what sex they are. Those are all factors of how I price dogs.
Okay, so I'm going to need to track what happens with these litters. Okay, so I will come up with language, Mr. Gunther, and regarding what I want in terms of a reporting requirement, and I'll ask to have this file come back so that I can figure out what exactly I want to ask. So when you sell, do you sell breeding rights as well as selling dogs?
We don't sell breeding rights anymore.
When did you stop
Doing that? Probably 3 years ago. No. When?
Just in the last year.
So all you do is sell dogs.
We just sell. Yeah.
And you do this, do you have written contracts for all of your sales?
Yes.
And how many dogs have you sold in calendar year 2023?
Six. Is that right?
I think 6.
6 puppies.
Is this the same, are these the same dogs that we talked about a little bit ago? Where you had,
Yes.
okay, and I've already asked for you to provide me with written the sale contracts for those, I believe. Okay.
Okay, then might be 7. I can pull up the records, and I've got sales contracts on each dog, so we can review that.
So, how do you get paid when you sell a dog?
Preferably cash, sometimes Venmo or Zelle.
Okay. And how many Venmo accounts do you have?
1. Oh, I guess we have 2. We only have 1 that we really use.
And do you sell dogs using PayPal?
We have in the past, but not for a long time.
Not for a long time.
When was the last time? Okay, I'm listening.
Madam Trustee,
Yeah.
give it.
Yeah, we
There's
will.
a fire truck going by.
I see that, or hear that. All right, sounds like it's gone. So, 2 Venmo accounts. When was the last time you sold a dog using PayPal?
Don't know an exact date. It's been over a year.
Probably 2 years.
How many Zelle accounts do you have?
2.
So I'm going to need to see printouts of transaction statements from all of the Venmo and Zelle accounts that you have from January 2023 through the end of October. And I would like the statements to be in a form that shows the amount and the description of the receipts. And do you have any claims against anyone? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. When you say description of receipt, what do you mean by that?
I don't want just a dollar amount. I want to know what the transaction involved, what was being transacted.
Okay.
Okay. And do you folks have claims?
That may not be
Go ahead.
statements. It depends on what the description was at the time the money was sent.
So, I mean, do you use the Venmo accounts for anything other than your business?
Yes.
So you mix in personal and business transactions on the Venmo accounts?
Yes.
Then I'd like you to identify personal from business because I'm asking to see all the transactions. And I want the statements accompanied by a declaration so that we know what we're getting. And the Zelle accounts that you have, are those personal and business transactions mixed on those 2 Zelle accounts?
Yes.
All right, I want those transaction statements also accompanied by a declaration. And I want the transactions identified by whether they're personal or business. Do you have any claims against anyone? Either one of you?
Have any what?
Claims against anyone for like unpaid contracts, fees due, any kind of damages that you're asserting against anyone?
Sure.
We had outstanding cases that have all been, are under a stay as a result of this action.
Cases filed against you? I'm right?
Both.
And
Cases for and against us.
okay. So have the cases where you're trying to get something from someone else, do you have standalone lawsuits against others?
Most of the actions currently were countersuits.
Okay.
We had actions that one was dismissed for venue, and we didn't refile prior to filing this.
All right. There were no counterclaims listed as an asset on your asset schedule. So how many counterclaims do you have that are pending? I understand that the actions may have been stayed because of the filing of your bankruptcy, but they still, if you have counterclaims in those actions, that those counterclaims need to be disclosed and valued on your asset schedule. So we're going to object for that. How many counterclaims do you have pending, or did you have pending at the time this bankruptcy was filed?
3 or 4, I need to verify.
3 or 4? Okay. So you
Yes.
need to make sure you amend the asset schedule to list those.
Madam Trustee?
Yes.
I'd spoken with Mr. and Mrs. Jenvey about that. They were, as I said, they were claims in connection with small claims matters that had been filed against them, and I was told that they did not intend to pursue those claims, and so we did not list them for that reason, that there was no intent, and the fact that they are not listed in the schedules, I mean, my understanding is they no longer have a right to pursue those claims. So that's the reason why those counterclaims were not listed, because there was no intent to pursue them post-filing.
Okay, so if I could just get that in the form of a declaration from them, that'd be great. Identifying
Yes.
the suits, the counterclaims, and what their intention is. So we need to object to get a declaration regarding that. And that would be with respect to all lawsuits that were pending at the time the case was filed, in which a counterclaim was filed by the debtors. Do you rent out your residence to anyone? Any part of it?
Not currently. We have in the past.
When was the last time you had rental income?
It's been over a year.
And what were you renting out?
A bedroom,
And how much were you charging?
$750, I think.
And you haven't had rental income for more than a year?
correct.
Do you remember when what the last month of rental income was?
I would have to look. No, that'll actually show up in the Venmo filing. Well, actually, maybe not. Just go on the good January.
Was it a month to
I
month?
can verify.
Okay. Was it a month to month or a lease?
It was a month to month. We were renting to a naval officer who was at the Navy postgraduate school.
And what was the name of the tenant?
Lin Zing.
Okay. So let me just get a declaration. I need to understand. Again, I'm trying to figure out the income. Did you have rental income from renting this room out in 2021?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there a reason that didn't show up on your tax return?
Oversight.
How much rental income did you have in 2021?
I
Probably
think 800 a month times 12.
750.
750 a month times 12. 9,000.
Did you have a written rental agreement with your tenant?
Yes.
So I need to see a copy of that, please. You just had the one tenant in 2021? Lin Lin Zhang?
Correct. Yes.
Did you rent that room out in 2022?
I need to verify when he actually left. He may have been there in 22.
I think he was there 1 month in 2020, or maybe even just 2 weeks.
So have you rented it since he left?
No.
Do you maintain copies of all AKC records on the dogs in which you currently have an interest?
Yes.
And how long do you maintain those records?
Ongoing. I mean, perpetuity. We've got electronic copies of everything.
So when
The
you're
AKC website.
okay, when you sell dogs for cash, you mentioned that some of the sales are cash. Where would you put the money? Where do you what do you do with the cash?
Sometimes it goes into the bank account. Sometimes we just keep it as cash in the safe at home for future dog expenses.
Okay. So did you have any cash in your safe at the time you filed the bankruptcy petition? And the file date was
No.
no cash at the time of filing?
No. Time of filing, no.
Is there any cash in there now?
I think $1,000.
And that would have been from what?
Some recent dog sales that haven't gone to expenses.
All right. Let me just see if I have anything else before I turn it over to some of the creditors that are on the line here. Okay. All right. I might jump in again. I'm not sure. All right. So let me have the first creditor's name, please. How about?
This is Kathleen Moran
Oh, hi, Ms.
on behalf of
Heather McPherson.
yes. Well, Crowd Pleasers Frenchies LLC is the creditor.
Okay. All right.
Miss-
We'll start with you. I understand there are probably other creditors on the line that you're not representing, but we'll start with Ms. Moran. What questions do you have for the Jenveys?
Okay. One to start with is what's the name of the dog that the puppy that was listed in the schedules that's currently for sale?
Monet.
I'm sorry?
Monet. Like the artist. M-O-N-E-T. Monet.
Do you have a dog for sale by the name of Cha-Cha?
That doesn't belong to us. It belongs
Who
to
does Cha-Cha belong to?
Cha-Cha belongs to Mike Young. She has nothing to do with me.
And she belongs to whom?
Cha-Cha belongs to Mike Young.
Mike. And are you entitled to any money from her sale?
Nope.
Okay.
He's not going to
You've said that you have a partnership with Michael Young. Is there a partnership agreement?
No.
And who keeps the partnership books and records?
We do spreadsheet accountings between the two of us just to keep the records balanced.
I'm having trouble picking up all of your answers. If you could either speak more loudly or more slowly, it would help. So would you tell me again who keeps the books and records for this partnership?
We just keep an accounting of money between us, who has spent what, so that we balance it out when we sell a dog.
Okay. And
there's no formal record keeping.
And how many dogs does the partnership currently own?
One, two, three. Just three.
Three.
And is this a partnership, a 50-50 arrangement between the Jenveys and Michael Young?
Typically, yes.
And what would be an atypical arrangement?
When an atypical arrangement would be when he gets pick of the litter and we get second pick, and then we split.
So can you expand on that? Pick of whose litter?
So if we jointly own a dog and the dog has a litter, generally our agreement is that the custodial owner of the dog gets first pick of litter to do with as they choose, independent of the rest of the litter. The other party gets second pick of the litter, the one puppy to do with as we choose, independent of the rest of the litter. The remaining puppies, if there are any, are sold at fair market value and offset with expenses. Any profit is then divided equally.
Okay. And how do you account for that that income in your books and records?
I'm not understanding.
Well, let's maybe back up and say, describe the books and records that you keep for your business.
Excel spreadsheets.
And that's one that you prepare?
Yes.
And is it your testimony that you prepare the tax returns for the two of you annually?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Gunther, I want to know the names of the dogs that are listed in the schedules, and I'm wondering, rather than taking the time to do that in this forum, whether you would agree to provide us the identity of each of the dogs listed on the schedules directly.
Sure, we'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
Do you have anything else, Ms. Moran?
Yeah, I have many more questions. Do you expect to conclude this meeting today, Madam Trustee?
You know, I don't need to. In fact, I have a 10:45 calendar that's stacked up, and I've got a number of matters on that calendar. So I can continue this meeting to get additional, information, because I think that getting it in the context of because I've got some additional questions as well. So so yes, I can continue the meeting, but since there are other creditors on the line, let me at least give them an opportunity to ask some questions right now, so that they will not have waited for nothing here. And then I'll announce a continued date and time. Does that make sense?
Very good.
Okay, so...
Yes, that's acceptable.
All right, so who
This is
else?
Heather Mix, really fast.
Okay.
Can I just ask one question about partners? Can you explain April Hudson? Is she a partner or is she not? Because she's listed as a part media.
Apple and
So those
not.
partnerships that you just the described partnership with April Hudson in social media is not correct.
Not a business
You have your
partnership.
What kind
We're
of
friends.
Purchased stud services from April Hudson, but we have no shared dogs or litters.
and the puppies are advertising on your social media pages with April Hudson's name? You have no business interest in those?
Absolutely not. They don't belong to me. I was doing that as a friend.
And you don't get commission?
No. As a matter of fact, that day I bought her lunch. No commission.
So why is April Hudson listed as a partner on your page?
Because we're friends.
So what's the difference between a friend and a partner?
Big difference.
So Ms. McPherson,
About
maybe...
Daniel, there's another, so they're saying they only have one partner, but there's Daniel Ramos. And the reason I'm asking right now is because this is under oath.
Daniel Ramos has not been our partner for over 4 years.
4 years. Okay.
We have no dogs owned
And
to get Daniel Ronald.
who owns Lila, the dog that you're listing with current puppies that were born since the petition was filed? There were 6 of them, and they were not included in your list that you just gave to the trustee.
Michael Young.
Can you explain what?
that.
And how many puppies, let's see, there's a recent post saying 20 puppies due by Thanksgiving, because that doesn't match what you just told the trustee.
We have no idea what to do.
The three dogs that we listed as pregnant is what's being referred to.
Okay, but you've listed that you've gotten an X-ray confirmation or an ultrasound listing 20 puppies, particularly 10 puppies for one female. Is that correct?
No reference to 20 puppies anywhere. Yes, one dog
There's,
expected to have 10 puppies.
how many puppies have you had confirmed as being expected from the 3 females that you just discussed? Because you have a confirmation.
Potentially 16 puppies. Well, that's between the 3 dogs.
Can you repeat that? You broke up.
Potentially as many as 16 puppies between the 3 dogs that we have listed earlier in the conversation.
And those are due on Thanksgiving or in December?
December.
Between Thanksgiving and the first week of December.
Because it's confusing because you seem to reference future ones far out, but then there's this other, and it does say actually 20 puppies expected with 4 females, not 3.
Right, but because one of those is a partnership.
Partnership.
3 females
And
are
you have-
ours. One is Mike Young.
We help Mike
No,
advertise puppies, whether we have an ownership interest or not.
But isn't that interest 50-50?
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you
Not
think it
necessarily
means.
to help, no.
No, when we advertise puppies for Mike, we don't necessarily have any ownership in them. Sometimes we don't.
All right, folks.
And there's one other dog
Ms.
curious
McPherson,
that's missing, and it's for because his name is Capone. So is Al Capone listed as an asset? Is he that dog that's 50?
Al Capone is not listed as an asset because currently we have no money that's owed to us on that dog. So,
And that's the litigation that you're planning not to pursue. Is that correct? And that's what that declaration is going to say?
at this time, yes.
So the countersuit for Al Capone that's in current litigation is going to be dropped, and therefore you don't own that dog? And that's what the declaration is going to say?
We're not stating at this point what that decision will be. We've indicated to the trustee that we will provide a declaration to her with respect to the decision made on each of those matters.
Right. So currently, if Al Capone is not in the declaration on deciding not to pursue litigation, he will be listed as an asset with his value. So it'll be one or the other, correct?
I don't know the answer to that.
He's currently not on the. He's not in either place right now. That's my point. And then the other thing is there is litigation against me in the amount of $10,000. So is that also going to be dropped as being pursued, or should that be listed as an asset?
We'll list it at the time we file the declaration, and a decision will be made.
Ms. McPherson?
Okay, I just want the record.
Ms. McPherson, so I'm going to, hold on, everyone. I'm going to cut off Ms. McPherson's questioning for now, and you can pick up where you've left off when we have our continued meeting. But I want to find out whether there are other creditors not represented by Ms. Moran or anyone else that wants to ask a few questions today, and you will be given a chance to ask questions at the continued meeting. Is there anyone else?
I would like to, and I'm Katie Diego.
Okay, Ms. Diego, go ahead. Just time for a couple of questions today.
Oh yeah, no, it'll be quick. You stated that you no longer do any business out of your home. Can you clarify what business you don't do in your home? Do you not do breeding, or, I mean, is everything whelped in partners' houses? What do you not do in your home?
Not breeding.
Okay, on October 16th, you had visitors today, some breedings going down, and there's pictures of your dogs and other dogs in your home, stating you were breeding on October 16th. Can you clarify, please?
What's that?
On October 16th, you had visitors, you had stud dogs coming to your home, and some breedings went down, and that was stated on your social media, that you were actually breeding in your home on October 16th. I just want to clarify that. Did that not happen? Are you actually still doing breeding in your house? When did we stop?
Yeah, go ahead. You clarify.
So I guess we need to differentiate between breeding and whelping. I don't.
We were doing that breeding as a favor to a friend. We did not own that dog. We don't own that dog, and we don't own the stud.
Okay, because that had to do with the next one with the 16 puppies due Thanksgiving. You posted that October 27th with the 3 dogs that were also shown in the breedings going down today post. So, if those weren't your dogs, but they are your dogs?
The breeding was not done in our home.
None of that.
It was done at a vet's office.
So, all the pictures of the studs that were your house, the stud and the dogs, in your backyard, saying breedings going down, visitors today at your house, was not actually at your house?
Not for our dogs.
Ms. Diego, they just said that it was not their dogs.
Okay, well, I'll send that in just because it was. Okay. The other question I had was, are you offering progesterone testing at your home? There's a post from October 16th that you had a visitor from Hula, or the woman who owns Hula and Luna was getting progesterone tests and at last night at your house on October 16th. So are you also doing vet type things at your house then, since you're not doing breeding? But there was progesterone testing going on.
That are incorrect, so I'm just going to correct you right now. I own a progesterone, and I gave a test to a friend and let her use my machine.
There was no charge.
Okay. But regardless of that, are you licensed to do any vet type stuff like that from your home? Certifications, licenses? Because that is considered a business type thing, especially with dog breeding.
We do not offer that service.
All right, Ms. Diego, I think we have to.
You also,
Ms. Diego, we're going to have to cut off the
and I
questioning.
okay, my last one was too, is all of this was done under Bulldogs By The Sea, which you said was not your business, but it is advertised as a business on Instagram with all those posts. So I just wanted to clarify that's not a business.
I think that's a question for the Jenveys. Is Bulldogs By The Sea a business or not?
Definitely not.
No, it's an Instagram
Okay,
tag.
because
Okay.
it is an Instagram, but it also on Instagram says dog breeder under it as a business, and then services, it shows the puppies that you've had for sale, all your breedings, and your partners. So things are listed under that makes it look like it is advertising your business stuff.
Okay.
Under that name.
So I think, Ms. Diego, they've already answered the question, and then you've made your comments. Do we have any other creditors on the line? Okay. All right. I do have a couple more
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
My name. I'm sorry. I am not a creditor, but my name is Jill Magana. I am looking for clarification of assets. They did mention me, and they were in a lawsuit, and it was dismissed due to venue. They still claim ownership of 2 of my dogs.
Can you tell me, excuse me, tell me your name, please. Tell me your name.
My first name is Jill.
Okay.
Last name is Magana, Magana.
All right. So what questions do you have for the judges?
I did not see on the list of assets, and so I just wanted clarification. I know they said they still own 6 dogs, but claim ownership of my dog, known as Portia. I have renamed her to Tokyo. I still receive demand letters. I still am accused of stealing her. So I wanted to know, is Tokyo still owned by the Jenveys, one of their assets? I also have a question of another dog, Maya of Seafoam, that they also still claim ownership of, but I did not hear her name listed as one of their dogs. Do you still own those dogs? Are those 2 dogs an asset totaling over $15,000?
No.
We don't have them in our possession.
What does that mean, Your Honor? Can we ask for clarification of what that means? My question was, do you still own Tokyo and Maya of Seafoam?
Their AKC registration is in our name.
So this is the trustee. Does
I'm
that
sorry,
mean,
do you still own?
who owns the dog? The 2 dogs?
That's in dispute because they haven't been paid for.
And you're in possession
So,
of the
the Jenveys.
You're in possession of the dogs?
I am in possession of. Yes, ma'am. We are in possession of Tokyo and Maya of Seafoam.
All right.
The Jenveys still claim ownership of them. They need to be listed as their assets.
They can't be because they're not paid for.
Then they are your asset.
We're receiving income on these
If you're going to pursue me legally and go after me for $10,000 for the dog, then she is still your asset. You need to list her.
Okay. All right. So that's the last question that we'll have from Ms. Magana. Ms. Magana,
Thank you.
You can certainly, I don't know if you've already filed an objection to confirmation or not, but you're certain midnight tonight is the deadline for filing an objection to confirmation. So this sort of dispute about whether something needs to be listed or not listed on the asset schedule is not really, it's not really a question. You're just that's the kind of thing that you need to bring up if you feel that there's a legal basis for that, you need to put that, you would need to put that in an objection to confirmation, okay? Do we have
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Do we have anyone else on the line? Okay, I do have a couple of non-dog business questions to ask.
Oh, yes. My name is Rebecca Lomelli. I'm a collector.
Okay. I have time for like one question from you. We're going to be continuing this meeting.
Sure.
So you will have an opportunity
understand.
to ask more questions, but just one question if you don't mind. Okay, for now.
Did you purchase dog Cassius Stud since you filed this bankruptcy, and how much did you pay for him? Male stud named Cassius that was purchased by you.
A previous sale.
I'm sorry, the phone's cutting out. I cannot hear him.
Can you please repeat your response, Mr. Jenvey?
Cassius was a puppy back from a previous dog sale.
Did you say puppy back?
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Did you say puppy back?
That is an asset. That is a payment. A puppy back is an asset and a payment for a stud fee.
Okay.
So that would also be listed as an asset. Have you listed Cassius as an asset in your bankruptcy?
Yes.
All right,
And what is his value?
Continue to ask what. Don't she got one?
So I need, we don't have names of any of the dogs on the asset schedule. Ms. Moran has requested a list, and I'm going to formally object to get a list of all the names for the dogs that are listed on line 13 of the asset schedule. They're listed right now just by by numbers. 5 French Bulldogs with a certain value, 2 French Bulldogs, 8 French Bulldog puppies. I want all of these dogs listed by name with associated values. And is the Cassius stud dog, which, this question is for the Jenveys, which of these groups of dogs has Cassius in it?
He was actually one of the 8 puppies listed previously.
One of the 8 that 7 of which have been sold?
Yes.
So he's been sold?
No, he is not.
So I'm sorry, I guess 6 of the 8 have been sold.
You said all have been sold except for 1. What's the name of the one that was not sold?
Well, Cassius is a different litter, so that was my mistake. Cassius is from a different litter. We sold all but one of the litter that we had. No name puppy from that litter.
All right, I want a listing of all the dogs that you had on the petition date that are described in line 13, and any other dogs that you have acquired since the petition date with their names and values. All right, I think given how late it is, I'm going to just continue the meeting. The additional questions that I have, I will ask the next time. So, we don't need to put this on a regular day. In fact, I don't want to, because it is going to be lengthy, and I don't want other people to have to sit around and wait while we're doing this meeting. So, let's continue this. Let me look at my calendar. Let's continue this to the 29th of November in the afternoon. Ms. Moran, do you have any conflicts, or Mr. Gunther, any conflicts? In the afternoon, I have a morning Salinas calendar but I don't want to put it on that calendar. So we'll do it, we can do it in the afternoon if that's like early afternoon, like maybe 1 or 1:30. Would that work for the two of you?
Early afternoon works for me.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Gunther? The 29th of November?
Yeah, that would work for me. Mr. and Mrs. Jenvey are checking schedules as well. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
That needs yeah, taxes and everything. Well, it'd be nice, but no. Yeah, that will work.
All right. So why don't we set it for 1:30 on the 29th of November. The Jenvey 341. It'll be, so all of you folks on the line, all you creditors, if you want to appear, please make a note. It's going to be 1:30 by telephone again, same call-in number, same pass code, and I will send a written notification to the debtors and to Mr. Gunther because that is my practice. And we will pick up where we left off. And in the meantime, Mr. Gunther, I'm not sure whether, because this is next week is a very short week, I'm not going to guarantee that in fact, my guess is that my objection is probably not going to be amended to include everything that we've got so far. I'm not sure. I will try because that might be helpful for you, but you've also, I'm sure, made notes about the additional things that I'm wanting. So
yeah.
I may or may not, I'm going to have probably some additional objection points after the 29th, the meeting on the 29th, but I wanted to let you know that we may not get to it, amending between now and then, okay? All right, so.
Understood.
Thank you all for attending. You can go ahead and disconnect, and this meeting is continued.
On July 1st, 2024, Valerie Downing Jenvey attempted to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Northern California as a married person, filing separately. The bankruptcy was dismissed for failure to comply with submitting required documentation, effective July 16, 2024. Ms. Jenvey denies that this second attempt to file for bankruptcy was dismissed, despite being presented with the official court documents.
You have crossed the line between free speech and defamation of character. You have crossed the line. Malicious intent is where it is. And if you keep going, you will lose everything. You have also no way have we ever given you permission to post my photos. I will sue you if you don't take those photos down immediately.
Case number 21CV002694, People of the State of California versus Ken Jenvey, an individual, and Valerie Jenvey, an individual. Respondents have been operating a dog breeding business in Monterey County for multiple years. Defendants operated business under multiple names, none including their surname, and no fictitious business name was filed for any of their business names. Petitioner represented to multiple buyers that dogs had been screened for genetic illness and certified purebred by independent agencies when such was not done. Dogs we sold without mandatory warning of risk to purebreds. This case will be ready for trial within 12 months of the date of the filing of the complaint.